Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Pam. Today, I want to talk about reasoning with control. You cannot reason with control. That was a statement that just came to me as I was processing through some things about stress regulation in business, when personalities clash, when micromanagement comes into play. What we call it is the stress personality of the fighter. And one of the things that I've realized in the release of control is that you can't reason with it. Like where my mind goes when someone's in control mode or fighter mode is how can I explain this or help them understand? However, when the nervous system is locked in this state of sympathetic fight, you can't reason with a person that's in this place. So, what can you do as a leader, as a human in the workplace to help that situation become more productive? Because when someone is in defense mode, when someone is in fighter, when they're micromanaging, when they're coming at you or at a situation, their thoughts are not clear. They're not expansive. They're not seeing the full picture of the situation. They're seeing defend, threat, attack. So they go into that sensation and then they become very aggressive and frustrated, and these lower vibrational emotions take over. So what do you do yourself? Because you can't control this situation, right? I can't go in and reason with someone who's in control mode. What I can do is take a breath and soften myself. If I soften, how does that help that person in control? Well, first of all, you're not going to get caught in their crossfire. If you soften and you go into flow state and you regulate when someone else is in fighter and try not to over explain yourself or use too many words in that situation, then the situation has a chance to change and transform. So many people are in stress mode. So when we bring this into an organization and you have people in stress mode, wouldn't it be helpful for you to be able to say to that person who's in fight in a safe way, because you've all been trained in this? Hey, you're in fighter right now, so it would be a great idea to take a pause and let's come back and talk about this after. Because there's so much irrational thought when someone is in fighter mode. Like I opened with, you can't reason with control. You just can't. The person is in a dominant threat based state where their nervous system is pulsating signals of threat, attack, defend. And micromanagement is part of that. However, when your organization has the tools to have these conversations in a productive way, what happens is then you have permission to say, hey, I feel like you're in fighter right now. And why don't we work some tools together? Or take a pause, get out of fighter, and let's talk about this when you're out of fighter. Because when we develop the higher consciousness of this, the discernment, the awareness, and the tools, then this person can shift their behavior. Some people will take longer. What we're finding in the corporate space is that all it takes is a core group of people to send the signal of this learning experience of like, wow, here's my stress behavior. Here's the personality. This is what I'm doing. And I need to switch this to be more productive. That's a learning process. And it's a system that we need to implement into our world right now because there are so many stressors. And staying calm in those situations, softening into a state of flow, is a space that helps take down that defensive fighter mode in the other person. If I can hold a signal of calm, if I can hold a signal of understanding this person and then communicate it in a safe way because the company has given permission through training to understand this, then I am able to navigate this situation and it doesn't implode into an organizational problem. So you can't reason with control. Control just takes over and boom, it's like go mode. What you can do is regulate your own nervous system to deal with that situation train your organization to realize when someone's in stress and how these personalities impact the workplace. And then through that awareness, give permission to each other to work as a team to not let these personalities take over and hijack your organization. I'll be back with more. Let's take a breath.